Hello anybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie Kong's Double Trouble. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last one we continued on through Cotton Top Cove, and in today's episode we are probably going to finish it up, starting with Fish Food Frenzy, the last proper level of the world. So we're going to find ourselves back in the deep underwater level, in the reef. The water looks a little grosser now, but perhaps more remarkable than that is we have a new friend with us. Friend, so long as we keep him happily fed, because as this level was called Fish Food Frenzy, our job is to keep this fish fed. That is the gimmick of this level. However, he cannot just eat anything. As you saw, he ate an urchin. We don't want him to eat those. We want him to eat the cocos, which are the clownfish. And we don't want him to eat those, but he can eat a few. But as he gets, hungrier and more upset, his expression is going to change, and we'll basically see how far we can get through this level without getting hurt. Basically, once he gets hungry enough, he will attack you instead, and you'll take damage, so we don't want that to happen. But before we move on with the level, it's time to get the green bananas in a very strangely easy minigame for it. My main advice for this is pretty much, after you get a green banana, try to get back to the center as quickly as you can. That time I was just a little reckless. It helps to push the directional pad in the direction you're moving, as well as pushing the swim button, because that does help you with the speed. And we're already up to 30 B coins, or bonus coins, so those will be pretty useful later on. Kind of like in the way that the Creme coins in Donkey Kong Country 2 were used for a lot of post-game content, it's pretty much the same way in this game. Also, I think I may have missed something, and I'm going to risk my life by coming back and searching. No, this was the way we were supposed to go, and we are making progress. We see that our fish friend has turned a new color, so he's getting pretty agitated, pretty hungry, and there he goes. Once he takes a bite out of you, he will revert back to the second stage of hunger. Or rather, the first stage, depending on how you're looking at it. That room sucks. It's not good. I think that this enemy may just be like an alternate sprite of the other fish that usually hounds you in the water. I forget his name exactly, but I'll look it up and see if there's an actual name difference between these two. Did I honestly just go back to the beginning of the level? This is very embarrassing. I'll see you back where we're supposed to be. Well, that was pretty much inevitable. That was very embarrassing, but it's also... I'm not blaming the level for this, by the way, but this is one of my troubles with these kinds of levels, is that I have a tendency to get a little turned around because the environments look pretty much the same. Donkey Kong Country 1 had a similar thing going on with its levels like these, but... I think it's different because in the water levels in DKC 1, there were no bonus stages, so it was hard to, actually get to a point where you would get, what am I trying to say here? It was hard to get to a point in those games where you were taken out of the map itself and felt a little disoriented on where you were supposed to go. I think I felt disoriented after the bonus stage because you have to go left here, and that's a little unusual. It's not uncommon in Donkey Kong Country games, but for this instance, it did trip me up a little bit, so I guess the game got me there. I'm just searching also in corners and other hidden places for coins, because sometimes you'll find them. I am curious, trying to remember if there's something down here, and the answer is no. We just kind of wasted our time and also made our friend a little hungrier. This level actually did used to scare me when I was a kid. Just the time limit and the idea that this guy was, no, don't eat them. Do not eat. Well, at least if we die, we'll have gotten... That was not the way I intended to die. It was certainly not. This level is proving to be a little bit troublesome, a little more troublesome than it should be. This level did give me a lot of trouble when I was a kid trying to navigate the fish with you, but oh well. The only reason I'm accidentally letting him eat those ones in the upper alcoves is because I'm wondering if there are secrets behind them. Usually, if the alcove is big like this, there's usually something hidden behind the urchins. However, if you do manage to get your fish friend off screen, this means he probably won't eat whatever he's going after, and this can be good or bad depending on what he's trying to eat. Sometimes it feels really hard to avoid letting him eat a certain enemy, but I mean, a lot of this level just has to do with your downright speed. You can try to be delicate and get around the urchins, and usually you can succeed, but if you go too slow, he's gonna get hungry anyway, and then just one urchin can totally screw you over, so I tend to try to go a little more quickly on these levels. Now, over here we've got a G. They haven't really done much in terms of, like, the difference of hiding secrets. I believe we have one more bonus barrel to find, but we're gonna give our friend a fishy, so, you know, he doesn't kill us. No, don't eat those! Perhaps I should have hung back a bit. His aggro range is pretty unforgiving, as you can see, and the difficulty is that... Why did you betray me? Why did you not eat that fish for me, friend? Alright, we're about back to where we were before. Okay, that was great timing to pop myself back into the video. I seem to be jinxed in this episode, or at least to be having a fair bit of bad luck right now, right here. Just gonna move a little bit slower. See, part of the challenge is that when you turn around in the water, he'll swap over to the other side of you, so you need to be very careful when you're navigating around the urchins. Which, I swear, I'm gonna put the name up for them, even though I've been calling them the wrong name this entire episode. And anything up here? No, so what was the point of that? However, it looks like, unless there's a bonus barrel in this other chamber, we may have missed the other bonus coin in this level. I could have sworn we've only gotten the one, but in the meantime, there's our DK coin. Pretty easy to get. It even gives you a barrel as soon as you come in here, so unlike what I thought where you had to make it to the end with both Kongs surviving, they just straight up give that to you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go back. Sorry, I just had to be quiet for the epic cutscene of the rocks lowering around this pathway, but we're not gonna go there yet because we have another bonus barrel to find. So here's our other bonus barrel toward the end of the level. As you saw right there, you have to get past one of the urchins to get up toward it. That's a little bit stinky, but, well, it's not the worst bonus coin I've ever seen. So this is actually a really interesting use of the level's mechanic in order to make a bonus challenge, in which you just have to steer him as efficiently as possible so he eats all the fish. However, you also need to take into account the fact that his AI is pretty finicky and won't always eat them if he gets too close to being off-screen or if you move too far away. If nothing else, he seems weirdly less committed to eating the Cocos than he does seem commit to eating urchins. Did something just flash on screen? What the... Alright, we're just gonna get this bonus coin and get out of here before something weird happens. And that brings us to an end. I mean, that's... Yep, that's pretty much right near the end of the level. That level is just... I mean, it's even more stressful than I remember it being. I mean, when I first replayed this game a few years ago, it was less stressful than I remembered, and now that I'm playing it again, it's more stressful than I remembered from the previous time. It doesn't help that the level is kind of antithetical to swimming fast, because then you'll collide with a lot of urchins, and also exploration, because it discourages you taking your time, so that makes the level pretty stressful overall. But we've spent enough time talking about that level because we are moving on to Squirt's Showdown. Who is Squirt? He is the boss of this world, and uniquely, the first boss in this game that requires you to become an animal buddy. Also, maybe the only animal buddy. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he's the... Yeah, he's... No, he's not the only one. And this is what I was kind of hinting at a little earlier when I said they were really proud of this and we would see this mechanic with Ellie the Elephant at least one more time. Squirt doesn't seem necessarily too hard, but he is actually the first boss in this game that I think offers something reminiscent of a challenge. What you basically gotta do is avoid his attack, which is this sweeping ring of water. That's pretty much exactly what it is. And you have to shoot him in the eyes with water. Both eyes take 2 shots of water, and you have to put out both of his eyes for that to count as 1 point of damage. When you deal 1 point of damage to Squirt, he will increase the speed and number of times that he does a rotation of the water. This is mainly a challenge of your platforming abilities and a little bit of your aiming abilities. It's not super easy to hit Squirt's eyes. My main advice here is don't get too greedy with your jumps. You have a little more time than you think you do, so it's not good to rush because it is very easy to slip off of these rocks and fall to your death. However, we're just gonna stock up on our water. Oh, see, just like that. That's exactly what I warned about. That is probably the most common way to die in this level. Easier than getting pushed off the cliff by Squirt's water. Squirt's water doesn't damage you, by the way. It just pushes you around, but it'll push you to your death very quickly. So I can't help but wonder what exactly is Squirt. Is Squirt like a living creature? I mean, it must have biological parts, organic parts, because it has eyeballs that are vulnerable to water. But its body, its like head, seems to be some kind of rock, so I have no idea what this thing is supposed to be, and it's quite unsettling, to say the least. But it kind of plays into the fact that also you can survive that if you're lucky. You can survive the stream of water if you're lucky. I guess, though, what I was trying to say is that Squirt being weird kind of plays into a lot of Donkey Kong Country 3 being weird. The first boss was a giant barrel, and the second boss was a giant spider, which, you know, spiders aren't really something that Donkey Kong Country games have done before, aside from Squitter, who is a friendly spider, so it has done it before. But our reward for our efforts is a single ski. And you might be wondering, what are we going to do with a ski? Well, let's take our ski and fly on back over to Funky's. Hey Kong, the ski, not too shabby. Problem is though, I'm gonna need its partner before I can get you on your way. So, we have one ski, but we're gonna need another one. And it's probably pretty obvious where you're gonna get the other one. It's gonna be at this second world of this part of the game, technically the 4th world of the game, Mechanos. But before we go there, I'm just gonna check the time. Yeah, okay, we're gonna do one more thing before we go to Mechanos, and then we're gonna call the video once we're on the landing. First, we're gonna go to this little house here, Bramble's Bungalow. Ha, hello there, Kongs. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Bramble, the famed botanist. Yes, I moved up here to get away from the smell of the machines, but it's been too dry to grow anything. So he wants to grow a flower, but he can't. And it doesn't help that it's too dry, and also, you know, toxic fumes from Mechanos, the world we will be going next next in the next episode. So I hope you join me next time. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.